civil rights leader.
Woo! Woo! Yeah!
Woo!
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in history of our nation. 5 score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been scared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity, but 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languishing in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. So we have come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we have come to our nation capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of a constitution and a declaration of independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to follow here. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be granted the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on its promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great belts of opportunity of this nation. So we have to come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of free, fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all God's children. Go back to Mississippi, go back to Alabama, go back to South Carolina, go back to Georgia, go back to Louisiana, go back to the slums and ghettos or northern cities. Knowing that somehow the situation can and will be changed, let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friends, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live the true meaning of its creed. Hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day the red hills of Georgia, of the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners, will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood.
Woo!
Yeah! I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering in that heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice.
Woo!
Yeah! I have that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Yes, we shall!
I have a dream today.
Today!
I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious races, with its governor having his lips dripping with words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls will be able to join hands with little boys and white girls as sisters and brothers.
Yes, that's one.
Amen. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope, this is our faith, and I go back to the South with this faith, we will be able to hew out of mountain and despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, and to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day.